I have to say, Rachel Maddow just made the best case for Donald Trump I may have ever heard. So she was on The View yesterday, and apparently she says that she and Joy Behar, another genius, they said that they are very afraid that if Donald Trump wins the election, that Donald Trump will take them off the air. Man, don't threaten me with a good time.
You said recently that you thought that you, as an outspoken critic, could be a target yourself. Some people think that sounds overdramatic, but I'm right there with you. I think that he is so vindictive that he will go after, however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you. Yeah. How seriously should we be taking that?
Well, so I was asked, am I worried about me? And my answer was, I'm worried about all of us. I'm no more worried about me than I am worried about everybody in the country. I think it's bad to have somebody saying, give me as much power as you can in this country so I can use it to go after other Americans. So I can use it to go after these subhuman internal enemies and I'll destroy them. Like, that's just not a good system for anybody.
Wow, maybe you should take a look at Joe Biden, who literally declared that it was going to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and then did a speech in front of a blood-red lit Independence Hall in Philadelphia, declaring his political enemies of democracy and the Republic. Okay, listen, I've poured a lot of scorn on the frivolous among the Democrats. On the Republican side of the aisle, the Wall Street Journal now reports that the House Ethics Committee said on Tuesday it's investigating Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz. You remember Matt Gaetz from such special episodes as Matt Gaetz decides that Kevin McCarthy shouldn't be Speaker of the House for some unspecified reason and blows up the entire system and nothing gets better. You remember that? That was great. Anyway, he's being investigated over allegations that he may have engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. The secretive 10-member panel released a letter Tuesday in which it said it was clarifying its investigation into the four-term lawmaker because of the significant and unusual amount of public reporting on the case. Gaetz has denied wrongdoing. He said on social media, past probes, quote, emerged from lies intended solely to smear me. The committee is, quote, now opening new frivolous investigations. He said the panel is doing this to avoid the obvious fact that every investigation into me ends the same way, my exoneration. The DOJ had investigated Gaetz for several years, beginning in 2020, for allegations of sex trafficking, which he denied. That investigation was, in fact, closed without charges. The House Ethics Committee continued to probe Gaetz. Gaetz is facing a primary challenge in his district right now. He's likely to win that particular primary. It's not a particularly competitive primary from what I understand. The ethics panel said it had difficulty in obtaining relevant information from Gaetz, and they said they've spoke with more than a dozen witnesses, issued 25 subpoenas, reviewed thousands of pages of documents. Apparently, the panel has determined some of the allegations merit review. The panel says that it is investigating whether Gaetz accepted improper gifts, dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. My complaint with Matt Gaetz is that his frivolity is largely rooted in a disdain for the normal workings of politics inside the House of Representatives, where it's much more interesting to be notorious in social media than it is to actually engage in the hard work of doing the thing that actually is necessary if you're the House of Representatives, which, of course, there are a lot of people in the House who are not interested in doing that. The cost of living is up almost 20% from 2021. Thanks, Joe. And families everywhere are feeling that burden. But legacy media keeps telling us the economy is fine. Everything's great. In fact, a recent Business Insider article makes the case the American people are to blame for this dumpster fire economy because it's people's perception of inflation. That's a problem, you see. This is gaslighting 101. Well, let me help you find some ways to save money in this economic climate. One way is by switching over to PureTalk. If you're one of many American families looking to cut down on your monthly bills, you need to start with your cell phone service. I recommend PureTalk because it's both affordable and reliable. PureTalk is rapidly becoming the wireless company of choice for conservatives. Plus, it's great for families because the more lines you add, the more you save. Not to mention, PureTalk is veteran-led. Instead of funding DEI initiatives, they fund basic services for vets who have served this country. And 100% of their customer service team is located right here in the United States. If you're looking for ways to save money for your family, I highly recommend switching on over to PureTalk. Visit puretalk.com/Shapiro to explore their offers. When you make the switch, you get an additional 50% off your very first month of service. Visit puretalk.com/Shapiro to upgrade your cell phone service to America's most dependable 5G network and save an extra 50% off your first month of coverage. That's puretalk.com/Shapiro today. Again, puretalk.com/Shapiro. There is a congressional election, a special election primary, well, it's a primary anyway, that is going to be held in the district where the seat is currently occupied by Representative Jamal Bowman. You'll remember Jamal Bowman. Jamal Bowman is the moron who somehow believed that a fire alarm was going to release a door. Remember, he ended up being held in contempt of Congress because he basically held up a congressional vote by pulling a fire alarm. And then he claimed that he wasn't pulling the fire alarm in order to hold up the congressional vote. He instead was doing it because he thought it was going to release the lock on a door. It was all a lie. But Jamal Bowman is truly one of the stupidest people in American politics. He's running in a very competitive primary. against a Republican named George Latimer. Many top-level Democrats have endorsed Latimer because they realize that Jamal Bowman is a clown. Like, not just a regular-sized clown, like a giant clown with tiny shoes, apparently. He fits into a clown car along with the rest of the squad. Well, Jamal Bowman has come under serious fire because, of course, Jamal Bowman is openly anti-Semitic. He says things all the time that are patently insane. In late spring 2022, for example, he apparently reached out to a local Jewish leader in Westchester County to ask for an unusual favor as he prepared to defend his seat in an August primary against two Democratic challengers who were gaining support from his district's sizable Jewish community. His district has a lot of Jews who live in it. So he texted the Jewish leader, quote, "Do you have pics of us so I can show the world I'm friends with Jewish people?" That's an actual text that he sent to an actual human. Remember that time it's racist to say I have a black friend? So that's the actual thing that Jamal Bowman did. He texted a Jew and was like, "Do you have a picture of me with a Jew so I can show people I like Jews?" The Jewish leader, who described the exchange on the condition of anonymity to protect his privacy, did have at least one photo on hand from a Jewish community gathering in Bowman's district months earlier, at which the then freshman Democrat had vowed to sign on to a House bill aimed at strengthening the Abraham Accords. But by the time Bowman sent his request to the Jewish leader in an apparent effort to counter mounting dissatisfaction with his record on Israel amid the campaign, the New York legislator had since reversed course and then pulled his support for the bill, it was aimed at further normalizing relations between Israel and its Arab neighbors. I was uncomfortable, the Jewish leader said. I kind of joked around with him about it. I said, "Oh, I'm sure you guys have it. Don't worry about it." He didn't share the photo. I was like, I don't want to be his court Jew. That wasn't what I signed up for. So again, Westchester County George Latimer, who's a popular pro-Israel Democrat, he is currently leading by double digits in the district. He's gotten the endorsement from some of the major Democrats who are capable of endorsing in this race. He has not received, Latimer, the endorsement of some other top Democrats. Like, for example, James Clyburn. James Clyburn says that he is not going to endorse in that race, that he hadn't been asked by Bowman to endorse in that race. Okay, but bottom line is that the Democratic Party is now being riffed again by frivolous idiots. This is the rule. This is the true rule here, and it remains amazing. Undefeated. People in politics are incredibly frivolous, incredibly stupid, and pandering to the most radical population available. And that is certainly true of Jamal Bowman, who I certainly hope will lose his primary next week. He is claiming that if he loses, it's because of the machinations of AIPAC, not because he's a moron who consistently does stupid things and says stupid things and says anti-Semitic things. It must be because of AIPAC. He's not anti-Semitic at all, of course. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.